What's going on, everyone? Juice Bags here, and welcome back to some Dungeon Defenders 2. We are here on Chaos 10 Forest Biome. I've got some forest wins that I need to get done for my daily quests, and we are going to take a little different approach to this map today. Now, normally, particularly this map, I'm a big fan of building back here and just watching all of the goodies that go off in the lanes as the enemies run it down. Today, however, we are going to get to spawn camping. So we're going to add in a little thick vines tree build with the spawn camp. And there's one thing right up front that just stands out. My trees are not very healthy. You see 1900, 2400 with the health pylon. Or 2.5 million, pardon me, with the health pylon there. So these trees are they're not gonna be able to handle a lot. These, of course, are full DPS trees, not going with any survivability really at all, other than automation. So with that in mind, we're gonna have to add something else in. Since we're spawn camping, we're not giving, particularly the chieftains, any room to pop their little buff and do their business. Now we're going to back this whole thing up with a couple of slimes. Let's go ahead and get, we'll get some buff beam action down. We're going to need, a little destructive pylon. And then we can throw in boost aura for good measure here. Now, what can we do to this to really tune it up? What's the chieftain's counter? Well, the chieftain's counter is anti-heal, of course, but the chieftain's real counter is knockback, and the Flak Cannon from the Countess does just the trick. In fact, I would go as far as to say any Flak Cannon, or a Flak Cannon added into any spawn camp build is only going to add to the benefit. Now, for this setup, we are going to be going with the Ignite combo. We've got a traditional slime setup, anti-chaos, anti-melee with defense rate, mass destruction, and augmented explosions. And on our Flak Cannon, our slimes, of course, are going to provide the oil. Our Flak Cannon is going to combine the fire. We're going to be doing this with Powder Shot, attunes to fire damage, and then adding in mass destruction and destruction. And I'm going to try to do just this setup on every lane. I might go one extra flak on that center lane over there, just as that one does get pretty hot and heavy there. Let's see, let's do the same thing. We're going to go three trees. Let's get our reflect beam in there. Let's see, I think I want the reflect beam way over this way. Let's go something like that for the reflect. Then we'll get our two slimes in, just as we have been doing down in the back. We'll get a little Flak Cannon action. Something like that, and then we'll get all of our bells and whistles in. So let's see, did I give it enough room? There's got to be a spot I can place it here. They're a little off center, but I think that will get the job done. So let's go like that. Let's get that destructive pylon down, and then we can just kind of throw the boost star anywhere on this one. In fact, we're gonna have a lot of DU left over, so maybe I'll completely load that lane up over there. That way I don't have to sweat it too much. Let's go up into the spawn here as well. We'll get our 3 trees down. Let's go with that reflect action. And what about this one? Do we want to do something extra on this lane? This lane is, it's a flyer lane, of course, but it's normally not too terrible. I think we'll just go with the standard there, and then we'll, and I still put them too close, even though I feel like they were way far away. Let's see, I think that will still cover it. We'll get our destructive pylon in. We'll get our boost star in. Okay, now that leaves me 350 for this lane. This lane, of course, can always be pretty heavy duty. No doubt there. Let's get our 3 trees. Thick Vines is still going to be putting in a ton of the work, but we're going to have basically a little bit more power and a little bit of support by using those flaks. Now, you know what? Let me just eliminate the need for any weird placement. So we'll put the buff beam down first. Let's see. Let's get our slimes in. Maybe. And then it still leaves me a ton of DU, but we can get our... We'll double flak it here. A little extra flackage never hurts, right? We'll get our reflect beam in. Actually, that's not too bad on the DU. And the buff beam. I want to get the buff beam close enough where it's giving a little crit damage to those trees as well. That leaves me 20, so we're in pretty good shape there. Going to DPS it out on the hunter, and without a doubt, it's going to come down to surviving the first wave, I think. As soon as we can get some upgrades in on those trees, things will be much, much better off. This, of course, is the heavy boss lane, but additionally, this is the lane I'm going to be fighting in, and that's why I left it a little bit lighter here. But we no doubt will have some trees going down, so let's just keep an eye out for those. Going to help out in this lane wherever I can until that happens. Looking at the mini-map, it's not too terrible yet. The Flak Cannon does really good. It's a low-key MVP in the game. A lot of people use it, a lot of people don't. It used to be used pretty heavily, but then, you know, as new heroes came and things, different things changed, it doesn't get used quite as often, but still a super, super hot item, and really, for low cost, it's a really, really solid addition to any spawn camp build at all. This is actually doing remarkably well. Like, I don't have a single tree even gone yellow, and that was my main concern, was that I was going to lose trees. Let's get, since the trees are the concern, let's get those upgraded. Additionally, by upgrading them, we're getting more health, which is going to make thick vines hit a little harder, but additionally, we're getting more range, which is going to make it reach a little bit further into the spawn, each upgrade. Do the same thing over here after I, you know, check down this cavern for any potential loot. Looks like there's none down there, so we'll go ahead and move on along to this other lane. And, yeah, like I said, that was surprisingly smooth. Did not expect it. Now, of course, we got a boss now coming. In fact, let's just go ahead and dump into this far lane. We'll let it fly here and continue to DPS. Now, spawn camp builds, of course, are not for everybody, but the benefit they have is if you want to run the maps quickly and you want to get things done and get your farm on, get the most runs per hour you possibly can, you're just not going to be able to get that done any quicker than doing spawn camps. That's just, you know, the quicker you kill the enemies, the faster the waves are going to run. Additionally, most of these spawn camp builds are super quick to build. So you're spamming everything right there in one spot, very, very quick at each lane, and that, of course, is going to reduce all of those times down as well. Okay, we got a Slakelion on this one. Try to get that Slakelion burned out quick, because we don't want the Slakelion spawning in weird, wonky places here. Looks like we got a couple of enemies left. Okay, we know this is a potential trouble lane. Let's upgrade it. We'll go ahead and slap some more here, just because we know there's a boss there in the final wave. And then I think we'll just let it fly here. Once again, I do want to get some damage in on this Slakelion, and make it so he's not spawning right on top of the trees. We'll just upgrade on the fly over here for this wave, and then I think we're at a point now where we can just keep an eye on the other waves, and as long as, or the other lanes, pardon me, and as long as we're not having any issue, I think we're going to be able to just sit here and slam into this lane. Charged Shot, of course, gives you a little knockback for those chieftains as well, so if you're using a hero damage build that utilizes Charged Shot, you're getting a little knockback from that also, which is quite nice. This first tree's taking a little damage. I didn't check the ranges for the goblin bombs, which of course can be a problem. All right, and there we go. Everything seems pretty decent, so I'm just going to let it fly again. for another wave here. We'll just slam it in right here. In fact, we'll slam a few upgrades into that flak and then just keep it going. Need the Slickelion to die already. There we go. You run around while this is running and just look at the tree health on these other lanes. Nothing has gone yellow or blinking red or anything on the minimap yet. So it feels like we might be pretty decent. Yeah, it's actually looking incredibly good. Like I said, the Flak Cannons, man. The Flak Cannons make all the difference in the world. I've got that anti-heal going on the Reflect Beam, but if you can knock the Chieftain back, then his heal doesn't really matter, because your defenses are going to wreck it. It's just he's got that little short-timed invincibility that you have to be cautious of, and the knockback completely eliminates any potential problems there. So, hell, super smooth sailing. Go ahead and get this flak popped up another time here. We'll get a couple of slime upgrades. And we'll throw our last upgrades into the trees. Let's let it fly here. We got some thick boy trees now. Obviously, they're still DPS trees, but now they got 5 million health, which is a little bit nicer. Juggernaut goes a long way as survivability on any wall. And in fact, I would say it's kind of silly to use any wall and not use Juggernaut if you have it. But remember, in this situation, the shard won't buff another shard. So Juggernaut is not helping thick vines. This is just super smooth. I don't know if there's anything that could ruin the day. Maybe a siege roller that doesn't have enough room to come out could make things a little irritating. But I'm thinking we are GG's here, as it just seems like. Speaking of siege roller, I called it, y'all. I called it out. I have beckoned the siege roller to come. We got that one over there. The boss is done here. Looks like they're done here. Let's just see what we can get into this guy. Oh yeah, there's plenty of room on this lane, so that's actually perfect. And there we go. Daily mission complete. Some smooth sailing and a really solid spawn camp. Without a doubt. Now, you know, if you went with the tankier version of the trees, that would take a whole lot of sweat off things, and you wouldn't have to worry about the trees quite so much there. But I like to use the full DPS trees. I don't mind adding in actually properly built wall if I need to still be able to use the thick vines in its hardest hitting form. Let's head on up and check our bonus chest. One of these days, y'all, one of these days, this is going to have a 10 out of 10 mod in it. Well, let's see, is today the day? Today is not the day either. Boo! But that will do it for now. Thanks an absolute ton for watching, and I will see ya next time around. Take it easy.